Well, happy holidays, TF2 gamers. The Smissmas update has officially dropped, and it's funny, I just got home from work, and I'm like, I wonder when the update will come out. Christmas is right around the corner, it's gotta be soon. Boom, sure enough, the update has launched, and actually, I haven't even had a chance to go through everything, but it looks legit. We have cosmetics, we have Warpaints, we have unusuals, so I need to go on and actually dig through everything. I really want to do an unusual review and rate those and see how those are going to trade, but that's cool. We got more unusuals again, and we got Warpaint, so I'm happy about that. I don't remember if we got Festives or not. I'm thinking we didn't. Maybe I'm wrong. I had to go and look at the patch notes again. That's funny because just a couple of days ago, this past weekend, I made a video on just reviewing some of the Smissmas themed Warpaints on the workshop, and a lot of them actually, or not a lot of them, but a good amount of them made them into this video, and there's actually some that I reviewed, I recorded, but actually cut them out of my video because it became so long, and those ended up in this update too. So I'm going to go through these really quick, looking at each one, put them on a couple different weapons. Let me know what you guys think. The other cool thing is since these are Warpaints, they do come in unusual form, and Valve is sticking with their 3 unusual types, which is Hot, Isotope, and Cool. So automatically Isotope is going to look great, and then definitely Cool with some of these should look good because they're themed around Christmas. Smissmas. Alright, so let's take a look at these new Warpaints we got as part of the Smissmas 2019 update. So the highest tier 1, the elite grade, is actually called the Winterland Wrapped Warpaint. Now it comes in a red and a blue version, which you can see me on here playing with. I think it's always cool if you get to pick between a red and a blue version, see which one you like more. Personally, I don't know which one you guys are leaning towards, but I kind of like the red, the orange and the green and the yellow. It's just so bright and vibrant. It's very Christmassy. The blues look cool though, the blue and the green, not as strong of a color contrast, but I can see how people could like those as well. Definitely pretty cool. And everything looks great on the black box, of course. So I like to put on the black box, the airstrike. Pretty much most of the primary weapons are going to look good. The scattergun looks pretty funny, right? You wouldn't use it that way until you rotate it, randomize it. Now it looks pretty cool, actually, going down the barrel and the handle stock on there. It looks pretty cool. But this is the highest tier 1. This is the elite grade, so technically it should be the most rare, the most expensive. So I don't know how you guys feel. Sometimes the tiering that Valve puts out there, I'm like, really? Sometimes the lower tier or the middle tier ones look a lot nicer than the higher tier ones. So, I mean, I guess that's good that there's more of them that can be unboxed because it's a higher unbox rate, but sometimes it's a bummer if you get a really nice skin and it's assassin grade or elite grade because you're like, great, now you're never going to get them. There's going to be no factory new ones unless they're like super expensive. An unusual version is going to be super expensive, so it's kind of a bummer, but you can see I'm on here going through the different ones. We finished with Winterland Wrapped, and we've moved on to the Smissmas ones, and there's 2 different versions. There's a village and a camo. So right now I have the village one, which also has a red and blue version, which is pretty cool. So I like the candy cane kind of swirls, but it feels a little bit too much for me. I don't know. Again, this is assassin grade. It's going to be really high tier. It's supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be rare and pretty and something you can kind of brag about, I guess, if you were to unbox an assassin grade, like a factory new skin. I don't love it, but I think it's okay. And then its cousin or its stepbrother or whoever, this is the Smissmas camo version. So to me, this is a pretty big jump, like a downgrade as far as theme. I like that it's this kind of like darker grayish kind of color, but then the actual pattern of these trees, like these really small trees and plants or whatever they are, leaves or whatever, mistletoe, they're so small and hard to see. It's kind of like, eh. So the pattern fit well on a lot of things as far as the repeating colors on the barrel and the stock. That's the Smissmas sweater you get every year. That's actually a pretty good looking Warpaint, but that's not part of the update. But you should get that in your stocking. I haven't opened my stocking yet, but hopefully the Smissmas sweater's in there because it's one of the better looking ones. This one, however, Frosted Ornament, was in my review, and it's one of the ones that I like the most because it fit well on a lot of things. Unlike the last one I was just talking about, the pattern fits well, but it just doesn't look very good. This one I think is a combination of the pattern looks good and it fits pretty well. Of course, the airstrike, it looks great. The black box, like I said, I like to put it on like the grenade launcher, sniper rifle, scattergun, rocket launcher, medigun, a lot of the primary weapons that you're going to be using most of the time because it just looks good. Actually, the lock and load has such a big face on both sides. It looks really good on lock and load too. Medigun looks pretty funny. A lot of skins look funny on the Medigun. The Brass Beast, of course, looks ridiculous a lot of times, but this one's pretty cool. The only thing I can say is I wish the pattern was a little smaller so you can get more of an effect out of it, but it looks good on everything. I think the white base, the white wooden handles on all the weapons look really good. The pattern, the red and blue variables look really nice too, but this one is not a really high tier. It's obviously going down to lower middle tier areas already, but it looks pretty good. Snow Covered is one I really like just because it's so simple and it's got a nice kind of pattern to it. It's kind of camo-y. It's not super forced of like the Smissmas theme. but it still looks cool when you get those whites. So I think they did a good job this year of giving us some good colors, white, snowy kind of patterns. You can see here on the wrench, it looks kind of funny because it's such a small weapon with a small handle, but on most of these, this actually looks pretty good too. So frosted ornament, this is snow covered. I think snow covered looks really good with pretty much all of them. The rock launcher, to me though, it's kind of funny because it doesn't seem like it's really Smissmas themed per se. It kind of reminds me of like Hawaii or Aloha, kind of like tropical. So I don't know, maybe the red one feels a little bit more tropical, and then the blue one feels a little bit more cool and Smissmas-y. But yeah, I kind of like this one. It's a good solid one. I think middle to low tier is probably fine. This takes us on to Slayin Style, which is another one I had in my recent video. I released that. I said that this would be a good candidate. It looks good. It should be middle to high tier, and it is kind of a middle to low tier effect. I think it's commando grade or whatever it's called, but it looks pretty good. I think the main thing on this is that the colors fit really well. It's Smissmas themed, but it's not too strong or too forced. And it kind of reminds me of like a toy soldier or the Nutcracker or something like that. But we don't really have any war paints that look like this. It also kind of reminds me of like Soviet Russia. So maybe on the heavy you would put some of these on there like that. But the pattern is cool. The swirls are cool. I'm putting on some weapons here that doesn't usually look that great because I'm just trying to like force it to see what it would look like. Obviously in the lock and load going horizontal looks pretty funny. But most of the weapons, especially the longer barrel ones, like I said, scattergun, sniper, rocket launcher, all of those, black box, it looks really cool. And if you can get something that's more round like I'm doing on this loose cannon, you can get it to pair up in a circle fashion. It looks pretty sweet. So the colors are good. I guess I got lucky. I picked this out as one of my favorites during my release, my critique of the ones that are on the workshop, and it just happened to come out with the update too. So props to the creator of this. It looks really good. I'm playing with it on the shotgun, doing it horizontal and striped and all that stuff. But a lot of these new skins, these new war paints, look pretty legit. So congrats to Valve and the creators who ever made these. I think for the most part, I don't think there's any that are super high tier or gorgeous or really pop out or make me want to unbox. I was really looking for, in this update, some more paints that make me want to unbox, because usually I just unbox a couple just to kind of donate and give back to Valve, but there's none that I like love. I wanted a war paint that came out this year that was beautiful, it was unique, it was appealing to the eyes, and I want to get an unusual version and hunt down a factory new one and unbox a strange. Didn't really get that. Now we're moving on to Igloo, which is one of the lower tier ones, but I think this is pretty cool. I mean, for something about this, just that really light blue, kind of like this soft blue, kind of reminds me of like Yeti or being in the snow or ice or water. And I don't know, just this color combination on most of the weapons looks really cool. So the Igloo part obviously is the Smissmas theme. It's kind of like you're being in an igloo. So the brick pattern doesn't look great on a lot of weapons, but on some of them it definitely looks cool. I think on the flamethrower looks kind of nice because it's a hot flamethrower, but you got this blue flame with this blue war paint on it as well. The minigun actually doesn't look too bad. I like the light blue bands that go around to match with it. So this one, I think it's very simple. It's basic. It's going to look super ugly on some weapons, but pretty nice on other weapons. You obviously just have to go through and see which ones you like them on, of course, but Igloo, I think, is a nice middle tier one. I wish they tweaked it a little bit to have a better pattern, because some parts of the weapon it looks pretty ugly and not very appealing. On other weapons it looks great and seamless. So like on the rocket launcher, of course, it looks pretty good. So nice light colored weapon. The blue on there, I don't know, this is really, really nice. That light baby blue, whatever you want to call it, looks really good. So that is Igloo. And now we're going to move on to, what is the next one? I think it's Seriously Snowed. See if I can find that on the list. I recorded this earlier and I was looking through the boxes and the war paints, and I do want to do a video on the unusuals and go through and rate those too. So this is another one that I reviewed in my last video. I thought this had a good chance of being put into the update, and it was. So this one I think is nice because it's simple. It's kind of like this bubble wrap or present wrapping paper. This has the different mercs of each character, like soldier, demo, medic, pyro. They're all on there if you can see them. I think it's a little bit too big for my personal taste. I wish there was a little bit smaller so you could actually see the characters. Kind of reminds me also of like the Balloonicorn and some of the other kind of fun, more light-hearted war paints that we have. So this fits the theme well. I think it's nice. It's fine. It's low tier. It's cheap. It looks cute. It looks fun and friendly. So that's not too bad at all. I think it looks good, the blue and the red version. It looks good on most of the weapons. Like I said, only thing I really wish was a little bit smaller so that on certain weapons you could see them, because if it's not on a big barrel weapon, like you can see the airstrike or rocket launcher, it's just hard to tell what's even on the war paint itself. But not bad at all. I'm glad this made it in there. It's solid. It looks good. It's clean. It looks like the designer did a really good job making it flow with a lot of other different ones. So now we're moving on to Gift Wrapped, which is also a lower tier one. And it's cool you got a red and a blue, because now you get to pick a really dramatic, strong red color or a strong blue color. And once again, we're getting more kind of like this wrapping paper kind of theme. and this one is just presents. So more kind of the stripes and the presents, but the red and the orange, again, I think are pretty cool. Personally, I don't know, I kind of like the blue one on this one as well, but I like the red. But the red, for some reason, I would like to have a nice strong red effect like this. What is it, like the Bonk Boy or whatever the other effect is? But it reminds me kind of like the 4th of July. Like, I would like a nice strong red and yellow for like a firework effect, or like a firework war skin of like explosions or something. But you kind of get that same feel here with these blue and yellow and blue and red stripes, or red and yellow stripes on here. So that one's low tier, but it looks pretty good. Last one on the list is Alpine, which doesn't really remind me of Smissmas at all, but it's kind of a cool, I don't know, it reminds me of paintball actually, like these splattering paints, but it's obviously supposed to be for the forest, for Alpine, and kind of these winter woodsman kind of effects, which we already have a decent amount of camo woody effects or woodsman effects kind of thing. But this one, for being a low tier skin, actually looks pretty good. This is another one, I didn't review it in my video, but I did record it and look at it on the workshop, and I thought it looked good. It's, you can see, very good job of separating the colors on each different part of the model. It's simple, clean, low tier. I'm not super excited to get one on box one, but it looks pretty good. Very solid. All the war paints this year are pretty good. I would say middle to low tier. Alright, well, those are all the new war paints with this holiday update, the Smissmas 2019. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are any of these amazing? Any of these are excited for? Personally, it doesn't really make me want to unbox a whole lot, because I don't think any of them are gorgeous or god tier or super fancy, but for the most part they're pretty good. They're all pretty nice. There's some higher tier ones and some lower tier ones, of course. You can tell the difference on there, but none of these are like amazing to me. Doesn't really want to make me unbox or trade for them, but they're nice, they're simple. It's always good to get more war paints, of course. I'm never going to complain about that. But thank you guys for joining me as always. I gotta get started on the next video looking at the new unusuals that came out, because I heard that some of them are pretty legit and they're pretty nice. So of course I want to see what they look like with other combos and rate them and see how they're going to do in the trading community and all that good stuff. So look out for that video. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Enjoy the Smissmas update. Go play as much as you can. Play the holiday maps, play the winter maps, Snowy Coast, Viaduct, all that good stuff. And hopefully I will see you guys in game. Keep a lookout for the next video. And until then, peace.